Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you always. Samir is a old-time friend of Relay. We've known each other for over 20 years now. He was part of the executive leadership team at Q9 Networks, which is a company Relay was the seed investor in, all the way to selling it for $1 billion. And he was part of that team that made it happen, going from 0 to $1 billion. Samir is on topic today following Julie's comments about scaling a company and growing a company. So Touchbistro, again, is another company that we were the first investor in. It had negligible revenues, 700 restaurants under management, and has grown to be a company with at least 15,000 restaurants under management. Samir was on the board. He joined us as a CEO about 2 years ago with the objective of scaling the company and talking about recurring revenue growth, alternative revenue streams, product management, and all those things. So I'd like sort of Samir to address the company, how he's scaling it, what principles that Julie talked about that you're encapsulating or not, which ones you think are accurate or not in your situation or generally. So I'll throw it over to you now to start and interrupt you a few times.
Great. Thank you for having me. Nice to be on stage with you. So I joined Touchbistro just over 2 years ago. I was on the board before that. But I spent the last 14 years in the different companies that Zain mentioned, looking at payments and integrated software. And a lot of the software work or verticals I was focused on were in the hospitality. So when I joined Touchbistro, I had certain theses in mind. And remember, it was it was still towards the end of the pandemic, but we really didn't know how long the pandemic was going to last. So I either lost my mind or I actually felt that there was something unique that I could do here at Touchbistro. So my objective was to accomplish 4 things, which I think will set us really well for success. One is going up market. So Touchbistro, when it started, actually it was the very first mobile point of sale when John invested in it. It was really innovative. Over time, other companies came into the space, and Touchbistro focused on the single location restaurants. Could be anywhere from a food truck to a full service restaurant. But I felt when you look at our metrics, we needed to focus more on the upper end of the market, the mid-market and the full-service restaurants. Because in that market, we won based on features versus lost based on price. It became such a highly competitive market. I really wanted to focus on the segment where we have highest chance of success, improve our economics substantially better than just being spread across all of the multiple segments. So we needed to move up market, which required heavy technology investment, cloud native, and all of the work that came with it. And I'm happy to report by last August, we introduced all of the new platforms, and it's been exceptionally well received. The other thing I wanted to do is expand our product set. Touchbistro started as a POS. Over time, we added some products. But I wanted to sell a whole platform. We want to make the sales efficient, improve, if Julie is still here, please raise your hand, improve the recurring revenue for the piece of hardware that we might have to finance for the software. And that was really important for us to improve our LTV over CAC and improve the payback period. So we started from being just a POS company. We added payments. Now we have a complete platform, probably other than Toast. We're the only one that can make a claim to have a complete end-to-end platform, front of the house, back of the house, and great guest engagement tools. Some of the back of the house works is through partnerships too. We have some of our products, but we partner with great companies like 7 Shifts and Margin Edge and others. I think, Jordan, maybe you're still here. So it's a fantastic partnership, and the relationship is only going to get deeper and deeper. So when I came, less than 15% of our customers took more than a POS. Today, more than 75% of our customers take POS payments and a whole slew of others. We went from a 3,000 size booking per customer locations. Today, we're averaging around 12,000. 4 times the booking by selling more products and going up market, which means our payback period went from, I think Julie mentioned payback period earlier. We were actually quite high in the payback period. We really dropped a lot right now. We're sort of in the mid-teens. And I expect next year to be around the 12 months, maybe below that. The third thing I wanted to do is expand our distribution. As Zain mentioned, I worked with really big companies. I know what big distribution looks like. It's a lot of money to build a massive sales team that covers coast to coast. Our primary competitor, Toast, has about 800 salespeople. We have close to 120. So it's hard to, we see them in all of our deals. They don't see us in all of their deals. And my objective is to create more friction for them and be in front of them a lot more than they see us today. How do we do that? By leveraging distribution partnerships. JP Morgan is a part owner of the company. They're starting finally to unleash their channel. We're getting this month 3 times what we did from them last year, and we're barely scratching the surface. We signed a deal with WorldPay, which has 120,000 restaurant locations, and they're beginning to refer customers to us. And we have a number of other food distribution like US Foods that beginning to refer customers to us. Ultimately, we're going to have coverage coast to coast with all of the partners that we have, and will make our sales team far more effective, and without having to deploy capital and spend a lot of capital just to build a bigger sales team. I think that's a far more effective way to reach bigger market through the distribution. And then finally, I think the customer experience is really important for us. When I came to the industry, we talked about oftentimes, POS is oftentimes viewed in a negative way. I think we get customers a lot from the competition because of the customer experience we are building. So I believe now we have a great foundation from which we can build on, and I'm really excited about what we've been doing so far.
How did you handle the management transition where you became the CEO of a company that was made up of managers in the different functional areas that were sort of a founding team? They knew how to get a company from zero in revenue to $20 million in revenue, or 10 to 20 million. How did you actually join the company, raise over $100 million at the same time, and start a growth/scaling plan at the same time? But I'm curious how you can share with others that are getting there in our portfolio, like how do you handle individuals that aren't proficient at the later stage of a company?
Yeah, I think that is really important, because somebody mentioned earlier, the person that gets you from 0 to 5 is not the same person that gets you there. Yeah. And that is a decision I needed to make fast. I come first day with my loyalty to the team that's there, try to give them that chance. But you need to be really fast in deciding if that is the right team that will take you to the scale you want. And I did have to make change. We have some people that are still here and probably will be here for a long period of time because they know what big looks like and they could scale mentally. But there is others that are just more focused on the smaller end and they wouldn't be able to grow. So I did have to make a change. But those changes are usually healthy and you treat people with respect and everybody understands. But I think it's important to do that fairly quickly. There were in some cases I probably waited a bit long, and that's a lesson. But my advice to everybody that's coming to that decision, do it. If you're thinking about it, that means it's real. Do it and do it fast.
And how do you balance that and basically a new growth strategy going forward and going up market and raising over $100 million at the same time without proof, right? This was all on the come.
Yes, no, for sure. I think you have to balance bringing some of the institutional knowledge that came from the past. You can't lose it all. And looking at the pockets where you could afford to change quickly. But you also have to look at the levels below that. Succession planning is really important. And oftentimes smaller companies may not think about it, but you have to always think about the bench that you need to have inside the company, because not everybody is going to be actually working out. So it's balancing between keeping the institutional knowledge while at the same time upgrading talent over time. And then at some stage, everybody will have more institutional knowledge than you could afford to make changes just that you couldn't afford 6 months ago.
Okay, and then the individuals that you recruited to take the company forward into a more of an enterprise-based company, how did you find them? Did they work with you before? Like, did you hire a search firm? What did you do?
It is a combination. My favorite thing is to go with the people that have worked with me before, or actually worked with people that I trust their judgment in. But I'll always go for the people that I know have done really well before. So I came from bigger companies, so I have a big network of people that actually would like to work with me again and were excited about that challenge. So we have people from First Data, we have people from Moneris that have worked with me before. But in some cases, we did hire a search firm. In the case of the marketing, we just couldn't find somebody locally that we actually liked. But so usually I rely on my network first.
We don't have much time, but
yeah.
In terms of like exit and liquidity for the investors in the room, including ourselves,
yes.
How do you plan for that? You have who's the ultimate buyer? Are you playing an M&A strategy? Are you playing an IPO strategy? Which one of those are you doing?
I think the company, with the way it's going, is going to be valuable in the hands of other big companies. They are large restaurant technology companies that are beginning to speak with us. All of the big payments companies would leverage a product like ours into their channel, and I think that becomes important. So I think we would benefit from being part of a really large-scale company, but you can't dictate that. That oftentimes may or may not happen. So in Q1 or Q2, John, we'll sit together and say, if we go a chart on an M&A trajectory, which we can, and there's a lot of consolidation we can do in the space, that would be exciting to eventual IPO. And the other part is to go be part of a bigger company. We have options, but the most important one, build the best company you can build, and then that will create so many options for you.
And is Touchbistro like a restaurant operating system? Is it a fintech, like a payment company? What
Yeah,
are
we do have a payment. So because payment is a core part of our business, all the new customers have to take our payments with them, and so we view ourselves as a fintech company.
Okay,
But what's interesting, we started as a POS, now it's a complete platform.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.